Hello everyone! Today I will be going over a bubble sort, which is one of the fundamental sorting algorithms that you'll need to know not only for other applications, but also for your IB exams. Um, so first step, we're going to have to define a unsorted random array of integers. Let's just say we have a 4, 1, 3, 2, 5. Now, bubble sort here, what it does is it compares the first element with the second one to see if it needs to swap or not. And to determine if those two elements have to swap, it basically says that if the first element is greater than the second element, then swap them. Obviously, 4 is greater than 1, so we swap the two numbers. We're going to have a 1 here and a 4 here because we swapped the 2. And since we didn't touch the other three values, we keep them the same. Next, um, now we're going to compare the next two adjacent elements. Is 4 greater than 3? Yes, it is. So we swap the 4 and 3. Instead of a 4, we have a 3 here and a 4 here. Next step, we're going to compare the next pair of adjacent elements. Is 4 greater than 2? Yes, it is. So we're going to swap the 2. 1, 3, 2, 4, 5. Next, next two adjacent elements. Is 4 greater than 5? No, it's not. So we leave them as it is. 1, 3, 2, 4, 5. And now since we reached the end of the array, that is our first iteration. So now we have to go all the way to the beginning and start this whole process of comparing the first two adjacent elements. Now, is 1 greater than 3? Yes, or sorry, no it's not. Is 1 greater than 3? No. So we leave them as it is. 1, 3, 2, 4, 5. Next pair of adjacent elements. Is 3 greater than 2? Yes, it is. So we swap the 3 and 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And as you can see here, our our element, or sorry, our array is now sorted from least to greatest. So essentially, where the term bubble sort comes up is that the greatest element from the left-hand side will eventually bubble its way up all the way to the right. And as you can see in the first one, our 4 was in the first, was in the 0 index, but it managed to bubble its way all the way up to the 3rd index. Next, I will quickly go over how to program the actual bubble sort in Python. Okay, guys, so now we're gonna program the actual, or we're gonna briefly program the bubble sort here. First thing we're gonna do, we're going to get the length of the array in the parameter there, and we're gonna store it in a variable n. This will basically help us iterate through the whole array. Now, next thing we have to do, we have to make the outer loop that iterates n times, where n is the length of the array as we defined up there. Next step, we have to make the inner loop that iterates from the beginning of the array up to n minus I minus 1. I'll explain what that means after I write it. Okay, so here I basically represents the number of elements that are already sorted in at the end of the array, right? And we subtract I from n to avoid iterating over the elements that are already in the correct positions. And we subtract it from 1 as well because we don't want to iterate past the array because that will cause errors that we obviously don't want. Okay, so after this inner array, we have to make the core element of the actual bubble sort, the swapping method. So I explained this earlier, so I'm gonna just briefly go through it. Um, so first we have to compare the uh, the current element with the sorry about that current element with the next one, right? So that and if this statement is true, where the current element is greater than the next one, we have to swap them to ensure that the smaller element basically bubbles up towards the beginning of the array. Now we're going to do the main swapping line. This is setting the two elements right here, and then we're just going to swap them by basically alternating them. And this is basically our whole um, our whole function, our whole bulb sort. We just have to return the array, and then I will copy and paste a set array. If we run this program, we should see bubble sort in action. Yep, there you go. Our array is now sorted from least to greatest. Thank you guys.